Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GameStar Radio. My name is Flash, and tonight we are bringing you all of the action from 18 Nations Cup, Australia versus Norway. I'm joined tonight by BSR and Virus, who is got some technical difficulties and he's making way here shortly. The game is about to start, so we're going to jump straight into it right away. We're on radar tonight. For the allied team, we have Norway on attack on radar, Deezer, Snubble, Borchester, Vision, Seagull and Kais. And for the Australians we have the Axis team, Shaggy, Haste, 40, No Name, Rico and Iceman 34, and of course Super Coach Cad in the coaching position. 3, 2, 1 left on the clock, and fight goes the call. 2, 1 left on the clock, and fight goes the call. I'm watching the Norwegians on attack now. They're often running a pretty conventional sort of defense by the look of things from the Australians, and a pretty conventional attack by the Allies. They're pushing now towards the side area there, and Snubble takes out nobody, slash kills on him, and Shaggy pushes in.
Axis slash kill. We've got Haste out the back there waiting to take on Snubble. He somehow gets a nade onto Iceman 34, who's taken out, and now Haste gets retaliation for that. Allies captured the forward bunker and slash killed on it. Great stuff there by the Norway team, getting a quick push on that flag, and they've got plenty of engineers and medics around that main gate to plant it up. They've got 3 or 4 of them. They're sitting on top of each other. Plant is down at main. 25 seconds left on that clock as the Allies push through now. They've just spawned, and good stuff there by Norway to start the match off, BSR.
Yep, they control that very well. Mix the pushes up, weaken the Australians, and pushed and got the flag right on spawn as the plant goes down its side with 10 minutes 43 left on the clock.
40 getting that CP up as the Allies push in. There's 12 seconds left on that side entrance. They've pushed in main, but it doesn't look like there's too much of a push coming from that way as Iceman 34 comes across to help that side push. No Name, Shaggy sitting on the bridge, taking down any fragments that are coming from the main, but none of them are, as 3 or 4 of them pushing in that side entrance. 40 there with his noob nade gets taken out by Deezer, who takes out him, and then Iceman 34 and pushes in. This is a great push by him, who takes out Rico and then gets
big TK there
by
from
Haste.
the Panzer.
Absolutely, it was a poor form there, but there's still 3, 4 of them. Haste doing all that he can. He's taken out 2 of them, and that's pretty much killed the push. So props to Haste for stopping a side push pretty much on his own. But there's 3 of them coming once again. Seagull, Snubble and Deezer pushing in, taking out 40 from the side, and here comes that Covey push now. He's taken out the CP, but the NG looks like he's been taken out. BSR, what are you watching?
Yep, we've just got 2 reinforcements coming towards CP, an engineer and a Covey. So if they can down and give this engineer, I think it's No Name, last man alive. No, he's down, and the engineer will push through, and he's cut down 40, and he's cut down Iceman, and he'll get a build on the CP.
Great
Solid
stuff
work
there
by
Broadcaster. Haste comes in and pushes, takes him out now and gets a revive on 2 of his teammates, but it's too late for them, and they slash kill out. And it looks like the Allies are going to spawn here at the CP, which they have indeed now. There's 5 of them pushing out from the CP. We've got 40 set up on top of the huts there, along with Haste and Rico, all at the east radar. No Name at 34 sitting at the west, and Shaggy was sitting at fake radar, but they're all taken down now as the Allies push in. Good stuff here by Norway. They're really taking it straight to the Australian team, not giving them a chance to settle in. 8 minutes 33 left on the clock, and they're all coming down from that CP. We got them spreading out like a fan all across this map, and they're going to really stretch Australia's defense here. BSR.
A strong ace push. We've got a touch on the parts now, with Seagull taking it through the CP. Oh, we've got a Ninja Covey
Iceman
from
34,
Iceman.
Covey. He's taken it
And he's
down
rigged up
and
the ace
secured them.
parts.
Great stuff there by Iceman 34. He was a Covey. He's taken out the CP and secured the parts for the Axis team. He's now a Noobnade engineer heading back up to the CP to try and get a build there. So great stuff there by the Axis. Just probably catching the Allied players a little bit by surprise that they'd be running a Covey and getting that CP down, which is a trick that I think Adversus did in the grand final just recently in GA Season 9, Enemy Territory versus Modus Operandi. So Iceman 34 bringing some of the Adversus strats into this international game now, as we have 3 Allied players pushing in through the main, and they're taking on Shaggy and No Name to defend the west. Haste taken down now, probably at the east. What can you see, BSR?
We've still got the NG waiting at CP. No Name got a touch on it, so he's got to wait for the build to fade. It's just faded now, and they're going to get a build. Iceman's pushed in, but he's going to be... Oh, he takes down 2, but he's going to have to slash kill. So it's just up to the Axis to kind of push it out and get their defense up again. It looks like they've got a pretty east-centric based defense with 4 people up around, crossfiring from east with a solid 4-man push from Norway around east. But they're getting cut down well by the crossfire, and it looks like they'll have to respawn and push again along around back of east. It looks like Australia's holding themselves quite well with 6 minutes 34 left on the clock. They've kind of cut Norway's pushes into kind of solitary 1-man or 2-man pushes, and it seems like they're holding them quite well.
It certainly does. The Axis breaking up every Allied push thus far, except for one on the east parts, but Iceman 34 was onto that and took him down as he tried to get through to the CP. We've got a couple of allies in the tank room, but 40 takes them both out, and Rico comes in with his Luger 9mm to shoot one of the players in the back of the head as the Axis slash kill. The Axis Australians, not used to that being in the same sentence, slash kill out and reset their spawn. It is a little bit, but anyway. And our third caster Virus has finally decided to connect to the server. Welcome, Virus.
Thanks,
and it
Flash.
looks like Iceman's pushed all the way around the back again, and he's pulling CP, so that'll definitely kill some seconds on the clock for the Australian team. And it looks like we've got a pretty strong main push here. We've got 3 Norwegians pushing straight down the road, looking probably to get a stack on west, but no, they're getting cut down by a strong Australian crossfire from east, and it looks like they're getting held quite well here as they push an engineer once more to CP to get that up.
Certainly doesn't look too threatening at the moment from the Norwegian team. Norway, yeah, that works.
Yeah,
as the Axis pushing out pretty aggressively at the moment and slash killing it up. We've got 3 of them pushing down the main road, looking like they're trying to change up the strats. Haste and 40 collude.
Oh, they're caught in the crossfire
does Shaggy,
there.
and Crack just takes him out beautifully. The crossfire of the Australian team at the moment, they're a little bit too powerful for the Norwegians as they struggle to get through main at the moment. Looks like most of their efforts going. As we've
got a ninja
Snubble
pushing west.
he is indeed, and he's a field ups. He's got an RD out, and it just goes the wrong way for Iceman and 34 and Shaggy to avoid it, should I say.
Looks like Iceman's pushing
Boris,
around the back once again.
Boris, are you up and running in the cast? If so, what can you say?
Yeah. Yes, I am at the moment, and at the moment, so far as I can tell, I can see 3 Allied players defending east with a boost going across east, and 3 Allied players striding away with the parts there off towards CP. We've got Snubble, Vision, and also Dizer? I'm not quite sure. Either way, they're almost to the bunker now. So back to you, Flash.
Absolutely, Shaggy pushing out to try and secure those parts before he could. Iceman 34, not a Covey ninja this time, and it looks like the Axis are going to concede those parts as 3 or 4 of the medics from the Allied team, the Norwegians, push through to secure the truck. The Axis instead going to focus for the last 3 minutes and 23 seconds on securing those west parts, as the Allies in fact secure and return those East radar parts to the truck. I don't know if secure or return are the right words, but that's what they did. They put them in the truck, and that ute is halfway towards being ready to roll down that road as Shaggy and 40 push up very aggressively before slash killing. Looks like they're going to try and boost on at the west part.
Boosting for west,
That's
yeah.
what they do. Yep, here we go. They've run straight over a mine. 2 mines, in fact. 40 beautifully placed mines there. Not 40 beautifully placed mines. Mines beautifully placed by 40. BSR, what can you see?
Yeah, we've got a kind of small push fake radar from Norway, but they're getting cut down, and Snubble's the last man alive at the moment, and he's cut down as we get a reinforcement from CP. We've got 2 players pushing there and 1 pushing main. Looks like they're kind of struggling to put an attack together that's really able to, you know, use all their players. They're really kind of pushing in 1s and 2s and getting cut down quite well by the Australian crossfire.
There's a couple of allies camping up the Axis spawn at the bottom there. Seagull versus 40, 40 versus... no, Haste. Seagull takes him down. He gets down to about 5 health points though, but he's a medic, so he's going to pack it up. Beautiful.
Vision here's got the part.
Off the ramp, Vision's got the parts. No Name and a mine combined to take them down, and the parts are still there, and there's still a mine left on those parts. So Vision cut down there. No Name and 40 doing it for the Axis team here. 1 minute 46 left on the clock now, as the Allies still struggling to get a coherent push together. Not so much necessarily due to their own fault, but the Axis doing a very good job at breaking up all of their pushes, and they push out with about 10 seconds left on the clock as far as they can, so really holding them up as well, as we've got 1:29 left on the clock, and our admin friend NXM telling us he's going to be right back. I'm not sure he was doing anything in the first place, but just in case he needed to be. He's not going to be here for a sec, but a minute 15 left on the clock. It doesn't look like the Norwegians are going to get this part now. We've got Rico and Haste camping it up on the east, taking out
Snubble
Kai's,
puts down the
pushing
support
down the
fire.
road. Okay, what have we got? Yep. And he's
And dies on his own grenade.
dove on his own grenade. Beautiful stuff. Bad luck there to Snubble. Rico being saved from a little bit of a spawn camping kill there by Snubble's Newbury. BSR,
looks like it might.
what are you watching?
This looks like it might be one of the last pushes Norway can really do, but they're getting cut down and held quite well by Australia. There's still 2 of them kind of hanging around back of Axis spawn, the main spawn, so we could see a ninja push from then, and maybe a touch on the parts with about 32 seconds left.
Yes, indeed. Kai's coming around the back of the Axis default spawn. Rico's onto it, but not quick enough. Kai's takes him out, and he's still up. He's down to his pistol. He's taken out 40 as well, and oh no, Haste takes him out, and that will be it for this so far on radar. The Australians full holding Norway with 10 seconds left on the clock. There's not going to be enough time for them to get the parts to the truck and secure them. 5 seconds left. So this map is going to either be a draw or a win for the Allied team. 12 minutes set, and all of the awards going to Australia, bar Medic, which Borchester.no takes out. Shaggy takes out Fragger, Haste takes out Experience Points, Ranking Officer, Highly Decorated, and Light Weapons. No Name takes out Battle Sense, and Rico takes out Highest Accuracy. So what are your thoughts on that, BSR?
I thought it was quite a strong hold from Australia there. They really didn't allow Norway to get into any kind of rhythm whatsoever. They had Iceman pushing around back a few times to blow the CP, and really their crossfire was far too strong for the kind of inconsistent pushes by Norway.
Absolutely. The if you have a look at the kills there, 110 kills to the defending Australians and only 54 to the attacking players. So double the kills to the Axis team, which is obviously expected. The defending team's going to get more kills, but that's a bit of a domination, especially in terms of the world-class thing. A shout out to CIA and to Tuf. I've got no idea how you say his name. He's an Australian from CAD and Rico respectively, as we wait for 4 players to ready up. And correct me if I'm wrong, BSR, but the winner of this goes on from Pool F into the next stage of the Nations Cup. Is that correct?
I believe so. Both teams have got a win over Slovenia, I think. I'm not sure whether Norway have played the Netherlands, but if Australia can take the Norwegians here, looks like it might be a bit of a one-sided result come Netherlands versus Norway.
Yes, indeed. As prepare to fight goes the call. Virus, you've been a little bit quiet, so I'm going to get you to take this one away for us as we push with the Allies on offense. Virus.
Alrighty, well, I'm currently free camming, and I'll be watching Iceman 34 at the moment as the Allies Australian team head toward the forward bunker with an airstrike going down, and what have we got there? Snubble taking down one with an MP40, and two Allies killing out, 40 and Reek, so they'll be split up by themselves. Oh no, they've got a couple of meds with them, so the Axis, one of the Axis NGs has actually fallen back and put up that CP, so that'll be interesting.
Shaggy's got a uni.
Oh, he's got a uni. That means if he can pull off the trick jump, he'll be going up that ledge and in towards the CP, blowing the CP.
Diaz is up there, he's throwing nades down. He was that NG you spoke of. He's up there, he's down to very low health, and here comes Shaggy with his trick jumping skills. Let's see what he can do. Can he trick jump up to this back section? And he does it with ease, as does 40.
And he'll let
Here
40
comes
in.
40 and Shaggy, and beautiful trick jumping by the Australians. They're going to get this build on the CP without even blowing the side. I'd suggest that they're probably going to want to blow that anyway. As they push through now, Diaz coming up. He gets off a nude nade kill onto no one, and there's a 6-man slash kill and push from the side. Beautiful stuff there by the Australians. Diaz picks up 3, 2 with his rifle grenade, 1 with his K43, and gets shot in the head for haste for his efforts. And it's a little bit of a sneaky here by the Australians. Not that it was probably needed. Shaggy jumping for the west parts. He's got him, but he's severely wounded by Borchester, who was waiting down the bottom, ready to shoot him. Although there's going to be
need a plant
quite a
somewhere.
Yeah, they are indeed. There's no plant at the main or at the side. So they're going to need a plant before they can get those parts back. So they currently have the east parts. Iceman 34 has got him, and he's taken him to the CP BSR.
Yeah, so Axis is still holding main. It's a weird kind of game at the moment with Allies controlling CP and having touches on the parts, but there's no plants gone down yet. So if they're going to cap any of those parts, they're going to need to chuck a plant down at main or at side as they capture the bunker with 9 minutes 42 left.
Here goes a plant. There's a plant down. Yeah, it's from the other side.
It's on the Axis side.
It is 40. Just not sure what he was thinking when he did that. Might have wanted to get it from the other side. He's taken down by No Name now. Where did he come from? As 3 Axis players push up, but none of them are engineers, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a defuse. And Iceman 34 secures the east radar parts now. Great stuff by him. Now they've just got the west to go. 9:13 left on the clock. It's certainly not been a conventional game by the Australians thus far. And now they have 9 minutes and 6 seconds left to conventionalize it and get those west parts back to the truck. BSR or Virus.
Yeah, it seems that the Allies are still pushing from CP quite heavily here. There's 3 Allied medics heading towards East Radar, but unfortunately they've all been cut down or have slashed out. And now it would seem that Rico has the radar parts after that destruction very craftily was made. Rico strides towards the truck and secures the part. BSR, take it away.
The Australian. Just too good
Yeah, well,
there
that was
by them. Go on, BSR.
Highly unconventional game, and it ended up in an Australian victory in 3 minutes 29 after the full hold. So it was a very, very strong showing by Australia there. They cleaned up most of the awards, and it looks like if they can take this momentum through to the next map, we could see Australia through the next round.
Absolutely, very easy stuff as we move on to Bremen. Rico disconnects. I hope he has the map, because otherwise there's something wrong going on there. The Australians, you can't say much more than they dominated this, just coming off a loss to the Netherlands. Very, very, very close on Brondorf B4, less than a second left on the dyno for them to take that round. Unfortunately it was diffused, unfortunately for us, luckily for the Netherlands team, diffused by Perfo, or however you say his name, in the dying stages, and they ended up taking that 4-0. But the Australian team asking what the difference between B1 and B2 is, I'm a little bit upset as to the Australians' lack of organisation. Rico downloading the map as we speak. Everyone else seems to have it though. But yeah, this to move on to the next stage. I'm not sure who we potentially face in the next round of elimination, but Australia certainly showing that they've got what it takes to compete on this world stage. Very close to coming off a very close game versus the Netherlands, BSR.
Yeah, it looks like they really are kind of taking it up to the next level. And it'll be interesting to see how they go should they progress against probably they'll have to face some of the stronger nations. I think they'd probably face whoever comes first in another group, and generally that would be one of the powerhouses of Europe. So whether they can take it up to that team will be interesting to watch.
Absolutely, we're waiting on 8 players to ready up and Rico to rejoin. Bad luck to you, Rico, for not having the latest version of the map. As we just wait for everyone else, and XM a little bit confused, and the confirmation that he's getting the map comes out from the Australians.
Now this map's quite a new one, especially on the Australian scene. I'll give you a quick rundown if you want. There's of course
yeah, go for it.
It was made by Desaban, who's produced a few kind of maps, notably Adlanest, which was quite popular in Australia and still is, and was used to some extent in Europe. Now we've got Axis conventionally on defence here, with Allies on attack. The 30-second spawn time for Axis, 20 seconds for Allies. Now the first objective for Allies is to capture a flag, which is kind of across quite a large courtyard with a kind of dishevelled building placed in the middle of it. So they've got to capture that flag, which is out in the open. Conversely, they can put a plant down at the main gate. But once they've done that, they're given a few kind of routes to push into the next kind of phase of the map, where they must secure a key card, which is pretty tough to do without building a CP, which is actually in the new courtyard. But once they've secured that key card to the transmitter, they're able to push through to a truck, which needs to be built and then escorted around the outside of most of the map, past a few truck barriers, and all way to victory.
Absolutely, there's a brief rundown of the map from BSR, his very own mouth. We should have probably got decided on to give us some special comments, but I am led to believe he's in Australia's Venti channel, giving them some coaching tips, even though he's not on the map. 40 says he's never played the map, which I highly doubt is true, as Better Fight goes to call. Rico's finally managed to jump back in the server. Nice one, Rico. As we get underway on this second map, Australia lead the Norwegians 2-zip, and Fight goes to call. I better hit Fight goes to recall Australia on attack. Same lineups as before, as they push out into the courtyard. As BSR said, I should say, this map yet to be played huge amounts in competition, so it's quite new. So the strats for it are still evolving. So convention has not quite been written yet. No Name pushing out on his own with a pistol, facing 2 of the other team, and somehow manages not to get killed, but doesn't get any kills either. As the Allies struggle to get to that flag, Shaggy picks it up, and obviously not the right timing. Shaggy gets taken out as he grabs the flag, and the Allies have it back. BSR.
Yeah, it looks like Australia got an early touch there, but it was nowhere near the spawn time, and they unluckily weren't able to hold it. At the moment, it's kind of quite a even hold at the moment, with the Allies just respawning now as Axis push out to their positions. So it could be primed for a 40-esque kind of ninja take of the flag, but as I say that, they're pushing heavily towards the gate, and it looks like they might try and get a plant with Iceman putting down the dino and arming, as a Panzerfaust goes off and just misses taking Iceman out, who's got the plant down with about 25 seconds to go and 13:32 on the clock.
2 NGDs coming across now. 40's got his rifle grenade out, and he's not afraid to use it. He takes down Worcester, who takes down Diaz with his K-43, who's now taken down by Shaggy.
The Axis down.
Beautiful stuff. That's the Axis down. The Allies have the flag, and there's 5 seconds left on that clock. So nice stuff there. 13-11 left on the main timeline clock as the plant goes off and the Axis have respawned, getting that first truck barrier up. So the next phase now requires the Australians to push through. They can push through up towards the CP, either blowing that or using a Covey to get through there. Through the side gate, I should say, which Siegel.no is defending, but the Allies weren't onto it by the looks of things, and they're pushing through the main gate. BSR, what are you watching?
Yeah, we've got quite a strong Australian push just through main. It's quite out of the open, and it's often pretty tough to push through there with a solid crossfire. But just as I speak, the attack changes to a more conventional top attack and pushing across a balcony towards the CP as Siegel's cut down and Australia takes control of a room which overlooks the courtyard and allows them to apply some pressure to the Norwegian crossfire. Looks like the Norwegians have just slash killed while Australia's taking control of the courtyard and pushing up towards the CP, but Shaggy's cut down without any help from medic, and there won't be a chance to blow that CP just yet.
Rico and 40 taken out now by Siegel and Dizer respectively. So good stuff there by the Axis, securing that courtyard just as the Allies looked like they were about to overrun it. Really, it's seems quite a it's almost the exact replica of radar except in reverse, with the Allies failing to mount any sort of a substantial attack and sort of being cut down to 1s and 2s before they get anywhere. And all of the kills going to the Norwegian players at the moment, as we have Rico making a solo push across the courtyard on his own. He takes down Diaz and is taken down by Siegel for his efforts. So it really is it's almost like the complete opposite of what was happening on radar virus.
Yes, exactly. I think that the Norwegians are more practiced on this map as compared to the Australians, and vice versa for what was the other map? We played radar. I'm just seeing yeah, sorry about that, guys. Oh, it's been a long day. But at the moment, in the courtyard, which is definitely one of the mainstays of the map, the Allies have pushed up the hill in towards the CP, but have been cut down by 2 Axis individuals. So it looks like that the Allies are, for the most part, cut down. And so they're heading toward the courtyard again. BSR.
It looks like this might be a bit more of a substantial attack. We've got a few people pushing top balcony for the Australians, with a few pushing bottom and trying to really stretch the Norwegian crossfire. They've managed to take a few down. 40's by himself, he's pushing low and through to CP, but he'll need some help if he's to survive his own very low health. As he comes in and he's cut down by vision, so the NG's not able to get through. And it looks like Australia have to wait for a respawn if they're to make any impact on this Norwegian defence.
Well, we've got Borchester and Siegel camping it up from that first truck barrier and the entrance to the keycard room, respectively. They're getting some great crossfire all the way across to that upper balcony, so there's not much they can do there. And Vision is doing an awesome job in the CP room. He's taken down 2 or 3 of them at a time, pretty much throughout the game. I don't even know if he's been killed. So the Allies just struggling to get through. They're guarding both directions. Shaggy comes in, takes down Snubble, and Vision's just there to back him up once again. So Haste and Shaggy just not getting through. Vision doing all the work. He's keeping Snubble alive. Shaggy finally takes him down and is taken out by Kais, who comes in from behind and is probably going to revive as well. So although that beautiful stuff there by Shaggy and Haste took him down, just wasn't enough. The noob nade shots going in there aren't well practiced enough. 40's not getting any damage done in there, and there are 3 of them camping it up. It's almost
as you say, though, he picks up a double.
40 gets a double. Very nice.
Naturally, the Shoutcaster's curse there. Haste pushes in now. There's Kais as the solitary man left there to defend, although there is no Covey with this particular push, as Haste finishes off at Borchester just before the Axis spawn. So we're waiting for our Covey to make his way along. 40 comes in now. He was the man that did that damage there to get the double nade kill, as the Axis try and regroup as the Allies build the CP BSR.
With 8:21 left on the clock, and it looks like they finally got through there with a bit of solid med work and managed to gain control of that CP area. Now with the CP built, it's a short jump through the courtyard towards a key card, which they'll need to kind of run back through the courtyard again to cap. And as I speak, Haste is getting a touch on it. Virus, what can you see?
I can't find Haste. Here we go, I've got him. He's looking through a window, and we just had a Norwegian fella taken down by the artillery fire. And yes, indeed, he is still in the dock room as the spawn ticket just goes down, so he's got another 20 for spawn. He's done a runner though, past the truck barrier. He's sprinting for his life. He's like a little rabbit, and he has successfully captured the key card, so well done to Allies. And console tells me that apparently they have gained access to the truck. I've only played this a couple of times. I'm not quite all that familiar with the map BSR.
Yeah, so they've got to push now along past where they've stolen the key card towards a truck, which is situated quite close to Axis spawn, so it requires a good deal of teamwork to get there, and they've got to get a build on the truck, and from there on it can't be damaged. They've just got to escort it past the truck barriers around the kind of edge of the map, which usually takes about 2 minutes, a bit less probably if it's uninterrupted escorting, as Australia pushes really in ones and twos at the moment, but they've managed to take down a large chunk of the Norwegians, and they're pushing through to the truck. They're just waiting on an engine.
There's a plant down at the first barrier that's got 3 seconds left to go on the first one, but the second one has just been built, so one of the Axis engineers a bit quick on that, as we have 40, an engineer for the Australian team, coming to build the truck. He has to takes a full charge to build that truck, and he has that indeed, and takes it away, slash kills for his efforts. So we have now Shaggy driving this V8 powered Monaro Ute. I don't know if Monaro are Utes, that's in fact incorrect. Anyway, Snubble building the barrier gets taken out by Haste, as we have the Axis trying desperately to get in front of that truck, which they can't do at the moment. We're going to need an allied push on that second barrier. 40 is ahead of the game, and it looks like some of the Axis are as well. They're defending that barrier, not trying to stop the truck's movements or any players around the truck, as 40 takes out 2 players, takes out Vision, and No Name helps him out here now. Worcester comes down, takes out 40 just as the plant goes down, and delays the plant that extra few seconds. 5 minutes 38 left on the clock. Every second counts here in stopwatch for the Nations Cup. You're listening to GameStar Radio with Flash, BSR and Virus, bringing you all the action from the servers in America, but we're casting from Australia. BSR, what can you see?
Well, we've got 13 seconds left for the barrier to blow, as we've got Snubble pushing in here. Lone Engie is cut down, so it doesn't look like Norway will be getting a defuse on that barrier. Now Australia just needs to make sure they get somebody on the truck. They've got Shaggy pushing up to touch the truck, and he should be able to escort it the little way it needs to go, and Australia will cap probably in a bit more than 10 minutes, I think, which is probably a bit of a slow time on this map, but considering they haven't had much experience in it, it's a commendable effort. As Worcester cuts down 40, Haste will need to touch the truck, and it's through.
GGs go up, and Norway turning things around. As we said earlier, all of the awards bar Engineer 40 go to the Norwegian team. Kais takes out Fragger, Vision takes out experience points, ranking officer, highly decorated, battle sense, and medic, not surprising for his great work up in the CV, which really held the Australians up. Seagull takes out accuracy, and Snubble takes out field op. Yeah, it's quite a turnaround, as anyone would imagine from the radar map. It certainly seems like the Australians have focused their efforts on that more so than this, and the Norwegians done quite the opposite. So 10 minutes and, what was it, 10 minutes 30 or something like that, BSR left on the clock.
10 minutes
now.
18. Yep, 10 minutes 18.
We're waiting on 4 players to ready up. Virus just didn't have the same sort of wherewithal in that map.
I'm sorry, I've got to turn my ET volume down because I can't hear you half the time, so that's really horrible. I should probably do that now. I'll go back to you, Flash. I'll fix that up.
A couple of shout outs to the X-Claim boys, Fokker and Karen. And prepare to fight's gone the call. 10 seconds left on the clock as we wait for Virus to sort out some technical difficulties. Once again, Virus the noob playing up. As
always,
fight goes the call, we have the Norwegian allies on attack, trying to beat 10 minutes 18, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't. Getting lots of spam down straight away on that destructed building. Artie's down from the Axis onto the critical choke point. Seagull taken out now by No Name. Where the hell is No Name? Oh, there he is. No Name taken
flag.
Yeah, just around the flag. It's quite a flag-centric defense, which would be expected, being that that's the main objective at this point. Shaggy camping it up in a corner as the allies slash kill and reset. Coming through that, I don't know what we call all of these things, that left corridor. Shaggy is pushed out very aggressively, as have most of the Axis teams. So maybe they have practiced a little bit more than we've given them credit for, and they just couldn't pull it together in the previous map. BSR, what are you watching?
Yeah, well, it's quite an aggressive defence here from Australia. From matches I've seen, there's usually one or two just left around the flag just to cut off those ninja kind of pushes from the top, but we see Australia kind of really pushing it out here. They're kind of in dribs and drabs, but they're managing to cut down the vast majority of the Norwegian team. As I say, that Vision's pushing towards the flag by himself with Seagull, and it looks like they've got a cap on it.
8:56 left on the clock, and allies have control of the courtyard and flag area. And as far as I'm aware, there's only one way that the Axis can push out and retake this. They can throw as much spam as they like over the top, but there is in fact only one door until that generator is built, or keyed, I guess you'd call it, and the things rise. So I don't know, maybe it'll change in later versions of the map, but it's very difficult for the Axis to recap this flag at this stage.
Yeah, we've got 8 minutes 23 left on the clock. There's about 5 seconds left for main to blow. Now Australia really need to hold this stage, this kind of CP stage, which Norway managed to do so well if they're to kind of stand any chance in this game. At the moment there is an intense firefight going on in the top of the building. Australia win out, and it looks like they'll just fall back to set up this CP defense, and hopefully for their sakes they'll hold it for a few minutes.
Absolutely, we have an Axis respawn now as they try and get up their crossfire setup the way that Norway
They're out
had
of position.
They'll probably be trying to copy exactly that. They're out of position, as Virus says there, as they slowly make their way into position. Just at the moment they just don't have the sort of, it's almost like they don't have the map knowledge on this one, as Snubble takes out a couple with his covert stand. Beautiful stuff there. I'm lagging out, so BSR, over to you.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to push through with only Rico defending CP. He cuts down Snubble, but Snubble's not gibbed. He gets a revive from Seagull, and it looks like the CP will go boom with 7 minutes 10 left on the clock. Now they've just got to wait for an allied engineer to get through there. At the moment there's no allied engineer alive, so if Australia can push out and just cap this engineer, they'll hold this stage for a while.
Iceman 34 taken down by Vision. He was an engineer pushing into the CP. Still no allied CP inside at the moment. There's plenty of other people. Here comes Borchester on his way now. 40 comes in, taken out. Borchester getting the build on and getting busy with it. Axis have managed to get out the first truck barrier, but it doesn't seem like it's going to do too much help, because once the allies on attack last time, the Australian team got that CP, it was pretty much downhill for the defending team. Snubble gets a plant down on that main barrier, and the objective is taken. So it's just not happening at the moment for the Aussie team. Iceman 34 finally getting some crossfire happening. Snubble and Kais, and well, it's just tragedy for the allied team there, as they got the key card to the truck barrier, but no further. So finally some good teamwork by the Axis boys to stop that push, and they're all down, and that truck barrier is about to blow BS up.
Yep, we've got another cap on the docks from Vision here. He's going to try and push past, and it looks like he'll get through. But the Australian team just respawning and being a bit out of position.
Oh,
so
huge noob nade there. Kais though picks up the docks at the last second and caps that keycard. Some great stuff there, an attempt by 40 and Haste to take down the dock area. They took him down. There was backup waiting in the form of Kais as Vision pushes through with Borchester down now towards the truck. Haste is there waiting with a grenade, but he slash kills out, as does Vision. So 5 minutes 20 left on the clock now. The Axis have to defend the truck and the two truck barriers, in order for them to successfully hold this and take out the match. Otherwise, it'll go 2-all here in Enemy Territory Nations Cup. Haste
There's no engineer
fails to
allies
take out
though,
these.
so they've got control of the truck, but
Here comes an engineer
not
from the
do anything with
CP
it.
spawn. 2 of them, in fact. But we'll have to
Allies.
see.
Yep, Axis has just spawned, so they're going to get the build on the truck and they're going to escort it around without too much of a hassle.
Absolutely.
Looks like
It's
it
just-
could be all over.
It just doesn't seem like it's the same Axis team that just destroyed these Norwegians on radar. The truck barriers both down. It just is completely.
No
it's
Axis
a
up.
completely
Yep.
different team. No Axis up. The the Allies are nading themselves. They're that confident. I don't know if that was intentional or that was just lag. But the Norwegians, well, taken down now, but there's no NG to build that second truck barrier, so it's going to be pretty much an uninterrupted run
As I say,
as
that
Kai's
40
drives the Ute.
is touching it. And it looks like he might get a build. He's got haste covering him, but it looks like it doesn't have the charge. And he's going to
Takes a
struggle
lot
now.
of charge to build those barriers. It takes over 1, and Snubble takes down that last remaining engineer for the Axis, although they've decided
The
to
truck's
stop
sitting
moving
idle.
the truck.
They've left it.
Here comes Shaggy, he's an engineer.
He could get the
And
build here.
Snubble,
He's cut down.
Snubble finally moves it and gets past the truck barrier now, just as Borchester takes out his own teammate. So it's a bit of a comedy of errors at the moment. This certainly doesn't feel like international quality enemy territory. As Norway take out the map on Bremen B2, not B1, Rico, B2, and it's going to go to another map. What's the next map?
I think
I
they'll
have
do
no
an
idea.
elimination probably from the map list, but Virus, that was a complete change up from the domination from Australia on radar.
Absolutely, and NXM saying that you'll see what map's next, and indeed we will. It'll be very shortly changed over, and all of the awards once again going to the Norwegians. It's almost like it was a completely different thing.
What do you think was the deciding factor in that kind of change of fortunes for us? I mean, it was really, polar opposites really from the first map. You there, Virus?
Virus isn't around, but it has
Yep.
to be just the strategies of the team. That Australia just not familiar with the map, not well cracked on it, not well versed on it. Norway didn't seem to be like over the moon about it, but they just seemed to just have the edge over the Australians throughout the whole map. And Australia just seemed like it was one of the first times that they played the map. As we're down to elimination, we have Brondorf, Frostbite Supply, and Gold Rush as the eliminations. And now we have Brondorf and Supply down, and nope, not Supply.
No, it's Goldie.
Gold Rush. Gold Rush has been picked by the Norwegians as they won the coin toss, and waiting on. We'll be waiting on all 12 players to ready up. BSR, do you know if any of these Norwegian teams are particularly good at Gold Rush compared to the Australians?
I think it's been a staple of the European game for quite a while, but having said that, it has been for the Australian game as well. It should be interesting. Australia, of course, took a victory over Slovenia on this map, so they can at least boast about having some experience together as a team on this. Whether the Norwegians have cracked Goldie, I think I doubt it a bit, considering they probably haven't had to have had a game on it yet. So I'd see probably Australia having the advantage here, especially with a more conventional map that they've probably played before compared to Bremen. So we could see another reversal of fortunes and possibly an Australian win.
Absolutely. If the Australians get back to the domination that they showed on radar, with which is surely has to have been a staple in European gaming, being that it was an original map, then we would have had the thought that. Oh, there you go. CAD just letting us know, well, not intentionally letting NXM know, that their entire strat was based on an MG42 being placed, which apparently is out of the rules for the competition as NXM lays down the law, telling the CAD Captain Australia that's why it's out. So maybe that's why they sort of seemed a little bit lost. They're used to the MG42 tearing up some people. BSR.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment there from CAD. I'm pretty sure he was wary of the restrictions before we came in. For us, I'd be interested to hear your take on this decider. How do you think it might go?
Well, I'm not quite sure at the moment. Well, as far as things go, I mean, Bremen was not really a map that Australian teams have played very much, whereas everyone in Australia has played Radar to death. And now it seems that we'll be taking on Goldie. And is there another map after this, or is it Golden, sort of?
This is it.
Golden?
This is it.
This is the decider. This is and it's to determine who goes through the next phase of the World Cup.
Well, I think that Australia should have the edge here with such a strong team. I mean, they've played Goldie quite often and have been quite successful at it. Not only as individuals, but even as a team, even though they haven't really meshed together for very long, if you know what I mean. I think that hopefully they should be able to take this one away.
As I was saying
doesn't
before,
go too late.
indeed. As I was saying before, I think on the previous map that both teams should have had a lot of experience on Radar. Australia dominated with the kills and just the sheer teamwork that they had going on. So my pick would be Australia, but I've got to be biased. Prepare to Fight has gone down. 5 seconds left on the clock. I'm going to hit record. BSR takers.
Alright, so we've got the Norwegian team on the Allies, and of course the Australians on Axis. It looks like they're going for a kind of delayed push here. They've got an Allied NG and Med pushing long, probably to get CP up, as the old CP push is cut down in a blaze of glory from the noob nade from 40 and Iceman's SMG. We see a slash kill from the Axis, as the Norwegians are kind of hanging around the tank barrier at the moment, with Shaggy, the lone Axis, getting cut down by 2 Norwegian players.
Here comes a back push from Vision, and Rico and Iceman onto it mighty quick. Kai's and Vision push up. Iceman 34 takes out Vision a second before he gets the revive. But here comes another med, and if 40's not onto it, he's going to be picked up. Indeed he is. He's got mines down there though. That's what he was doing instead of taking him out. Vision camping it up down the bottom there, and he does beautiful work on Rico, taking him out and giving him Shaggy the remaining medic there. 40 spamming it up around the corner. A lot of effort going into taking out this one player from the Allied team. Vision doing all the damage, takes out 40 with a beautiful pistol work, and then slash kills. After all of his hard efforts, he was probably on very low health and with very little ammo. The Australians seem to be locking it down at the moment, bar Vision. Virus.
Yes, if you noticed that time, Iceman actually took a walk on the wild side and slowly strolled towards the Allied spawn and dropped a grenade just before he slash killed, sort of as a why thank you, nice to meet you, my name's Iceman, would you like another? Like, they taste pretty nice. But yeah.
Sorry, continue. There was an NG taken out
strong
there
back
in
push
the
cut
courtyard.
down there.
Continue on
all the
your
mines.
story, Virus.
Oh, there was no more of the story. That was it. He slashed out, and that was it was over. But at the moment, we've got an old CP push occurring with Shaggy and Iceman defending it. There's still Worcester here as an engineer, but he's been taken down by Iceman. There is 3 Norwegian guys coming towards CP.
Building on the tank, and he taken down by Haste in the last blaze of glory. He takes down 2 engineers as they were pushing in. There's probably quite a bit of a build on that tank even at the moment, but the Axis have now secured it, and just in the nick of time as they push the Allies back to
pushing short,
the dirty hole that they came back. Here comes Snubble on the truck. Beautifully placed landmines, jumping over, no cigar, advising, oh jeez, just spammed to the death there by the Axis
They've
team.
repaired, but they
The
haven't stolen it there.
There you go. And yes, they have indeed. Here comes an airstrike though by Iceman 34, taking out No Name and the tank. So a little bit stiff there by the Allies, getting the steal, but not getting the build, but not the steal. BSR.
Yeah, it looks like that was a solid push, and it's put them in good stead for another push. But as I say that, the Axis managed to cut down 2 Norwegian players and slash kill, and looks like they might be able to set up their defence again. After all that kind of good work by Norway, it seems to have gone down the gut. They've got Snubble, who's cut down front, and Dizer, who slashes. Push from the Allies here, with 2 pushing main and 4 pushing around old CP.
Yes, indeed, we've got Snubble and Dizer pushing in main. Snubble taken out by No Name's MP40 with a lot of help from a couple of mines. There are 6, 7 mines down, well, 5 mines probably down. They just keep on rotating through. Some great stuff by the Axis engineers. Iceman 34 defending a side push versus Kai's, Borchester, D's and Siegel. They're pushing in mighty strongly as No Name better stop arming some landmines and start shooting some helmets. As an old CP pushes in. Some good work here. 40 getting some nades across there, but no gives down as Shaggy pushes in and gets a kill and slash kill. And Snubble getting a build on the tank from the main. He's repaired it, and they're going to steal it this time as well. Iceman 34 has stolen the truck. 10:20 left on the clock. Iceman 34 is down now. He can't get that airstrike off in order to kill the truck. As the Allies push down the hill, tripping over a couple of remnant landmines and placing some of their own. Snubble, he's got a spawn camp happening here. Will he get it?
Very nice grenade thrown by Norwegian player there, right on top of a engineer who was planting a mine there, so both the mine and his teammate were taken out. The truck barrier also goes up, but unfortunately the tank barrier is going nowhere. As I speak, Iceman heads towards the truck barrier, but is unfortunately taken down. There is a dynamite on the Axis CP, but 40's not quite defused it and has been gibbed by Dizzer, or Dizer, whichever the case may be. Lisa?
Yeah, so after a very kind of solid first phase hold, the tank was repaired just on an Axis spawner, really pushed them out of position and allowed Allies to push the tank all the way down without a build going on the tank barrier, and it looks like they might be able to get this tank in position with around 9 minutes left on the clock as the Allied CP goes up.
And Vision doing all of the work as far as I'm concerned for the Norwegian boys. He's been the key engineer and medic combination behind most of their success thus far tonight. The bank door blows with 8:46 left on the clock in case anyone is trying to sync up their casts. And this cast will also be available tomorrow sometime on GameStar.com as the Allies push down the road from near the racks as the Axis all slash out just in case Allies didn't have a spawn time. They've got one now. Vision pushes over past the old truck area. Vision and Kais are there and they're meeting each other up after being landmined to death. Iceman 34 pushing in now. 40 taken out by Kais. Iceman 34 takes out whoever that was and is now faced off versus Dizer and doesn't even get a shot on him. Vision grabs the parts. This is a very nice push thus far by Norway.
He's gone long.
And looks like they're going long, which is a very wise move as the Axis spawn. Cut down now. Shaggy on his way up there doesn't. Yes, he does. He secures it and returns it. So
Dizer's going to get a grab on the docks again. Sorry, Flash, and he's pushed around the back of the bank. It looks like there's 2 and 2 Kais and Dies versus Rico and 40 at the moment. There's Shaggy pushing out and looking to recap the docks. It's 1-on-1. He's cut down. Rico cuts down the dock carrier, recaps and slashes. And it looks like Axis will be given a chance to probably set up their spawn once more.
Kai's pushing up to take on Shaggy at the old MG area, and his friendly teammate Siegel saw 40 up there and decided to nade it, and nades his teammate to death as well as 40, so bad luck there to him. He pushes into the dock room and is taken out by Iceman 34's MP40. And then it looks like the Allies' pushes have been cut down. 7 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. Some very good work thus far by Norway, but just at the right time, I should say, to secure those docks, BSR.
Yeah, it looks like they've really kind of taken control of this last phase, but Allies have managed to get a scrambled defence up around the gold, and they're managing to hold quite well with No Name sitting at the bank. He's cut down by cars, and Iceman pops it out from the back and cuts down cars, revives No Name, so we get 3 Allies pushing in. Iceman's cut down, No Name's cut down, and it looks like Dizer will get a touch on the docks with Axis pushing out towards the truck.
And there's only 3 Axis players left compared to 5. Sorry, well, 1 compared to 5. Have we got some ninja at the docks or something like that? Where's that last remaining Axis player? As we got 4 Allied players jumping on each other's mines.
Dizer here is hiding up those
40's hiding it up.
Docks.
40 is near the truck. He's coming in now. I can't see the docks, but the Axis have spawned and secured the truck.
40's pushed out, and it looks like
40's pushed out. Can he do it? And Haste secures them.
Oh, Haste.
Great stuff.
Always coming in from behind. Oh, Haste. Oh, you my hero. Always remember what Frank is, ladies and gentlemen. That's why Haste, tells everyone. So at the moment we've got 4 Allies gentlemen all heading in towards the bank. Who have we got here? Dizer once again has touched those docks. He loves those objectives, doesn't he? But Rico has been cut down out the back, and so has No Name by Seagull. But Vision is also there, so he may be able to take down Iceman. But Dizer, who has the docks, is
Here
running
he comes
through
across
the
the
courtyard.
short. And this time 40 not in position to stop him. He's going to get the cap on this truck if he doesn't get team kill nated. 4 minutes 56 left on the clock now. That barrier is not up, but there are no allies there.
There's no
NGs.
NGs.
So no NGs for the Axis team. Absolutely. So all allies have to do is run and throw their bodies at that truck to get it past the barrier as fast as they can. It's very close to it at the moment. Here comes Porchester. He can't get a touch. Vision coming down. Can he get a touch? He does indeed. Him and Visor push out, and Haste becomes an NG a little bit too late. Just as the truck pushes past. 4:23 left on the clock now, as the Allies looking to secure this. 15 minutes time to start the map, so it's going to be probably around the 11.5 minute time if the Allies can actually get in front of this truck and start it moving.
Yep, it looks like Vision's sitting on the front of the truck here, and it looks like Allies have got control of the truck, and they'll push it as it goes past. Oh no, he's cut down by a Panzer from 40. Deezer quickly jumps back in, jumps onto the truck. The Seagull picks up a double grenade kill, and it looks like Norway will be able to push this through and set a time around about 12 minutes, a bit over 12 minutes. But as I say, that
5.
Take it away, Virus. 5.
We've got 5 Australian gents going towards the truck, and Seagull's in front of it, but is taken down. They're right out front, the Allied spawn.
40.
I'm pretty sure they can spawn. There's 40 does perfect work with a double TK grenade there, and No Name also taking out Haste. Oh, and No Name also taking out 40 again. So some perfect TKs at the end there. But the clock has now been set to 11 minutes and 45 seconds. Hit it, BSR.
Yeah, well, it's quite a long time there, and it looked like Norway never really kind of got into their rhythm. They struggled the first phase, and once they did hit a rhythm and push pretty much all the way straight through to the gold and get a touch on it, they just didn't quite get the right timing. And from there on, it was a rather scrambled defense from Axis, but they managed to pull it off and recut the docks a few times and really just hassle the Allies enough to really stop them from setting quite a decent time, and ended up holding them quite well.
Absolutely, we're waiting for 5 players to ready up, and it's 1:03 AM, and I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm getting tired. So let's all hope and pray, not only for my sleep's sake, that the Allies can push through in a nice and quick time. Well, I suppose the worst case scenario is that we've got 11 minutes and 45 seconds left in this game, but 5 players left to ready up. Hopefully they're going to ready up nice and quick. My guess, to be honest, I think that the Allies are going to push through this pretty quickly. They seemed to be in control most of that map, although they couldn't get set up back in the bank like they would have probably liked to have done. They seem to be running quite an aggressive defense, and that seems to be their strat in general. So my guess is that their offense is going to be a little bit more coordinated. Captain Cad is going to be on the hooter. I do a war room cross, but we tried that. Just gave EJ ear cancer. We're waiting on Snubble.no to ready up, and he better do it before I punch him in the face, BSR.
Yep, and he obviously heard Flash through Venties. Quite amazing feat, and we've got 7 seconds left before the fighting starts. We've got, of course, Australia on the Allies team. They need to push and beat a time of just under 13 minutes to progress through the next round. As we've got
fight goes as we have the Allies pushing up. Not one of them pushing main except for Iceman 34. This looks to me identical to the Adversus strat for this map, in which case he pretty much waits for the rest of his team to distract as much as possible and then pushes in like that, except this time he was taken out by Snubble.no's landmine. We've got 40 and a medic friend Rico pushing in from the old CP. To no success thus far. He's spamming it up around the corner, not getting any kills, and there are 4 people waiting to shoot him around there. So the lag playing an interesting factor. There's a lot of bendy bullets on this server. Everyone playing with a 200-ish ping. The Australians 240 average and the Norwegians 203 average. So certainly playing into the hands of, well, not playing into anybody's hands really, it's just being annoying for everyone. BSR.
Yeah, now it looks like the Norwegians are coping with the defence quite well here. They've got Snubble setting up the landmines on the tank. But as I say that, the Allies push through old CP, and they've got a few people there. No Name is a medic and Iceman as an engineer. And Iceman's going to push through the courtyard, touching the tank, with only Borchester trying to stop him, and they get the repair with 10 minutes 20 left. And it's stolen.
Nice stuff there by the Allies. 40 could have ruined it all as he came and tripped over a landmine just as Iceman 34 finished the build, and he killed 2 of them as Vision.no gets the build on that first tank barrier just in time as Shaggy pushes down. Somehow trips. Sorry, Iceman pushes down.
He was sitting on a
takes out Vision. And he was sitting on a landmine. There you go. As the tank barrier is now up. I keep getting those confused. No Name driving that tank down. 40 coming to get a landmine down. Sorry, a plant down even. As Vision takes him out, but is perforated by No Name's tank mounted MG42. Virus, take it away as I'm lagging yet again.
As always, well, we've got 40 and Iceman, both as engineers, both trying to scramble over a dynamite because they're both like, yeah, I want a dyno, yeah, I want a dyno, and now they've planted the dyno, and so now they both run away with their pliers in their pockets. Iceman's been taken down by Casio, but 40's watching Iceman, he's perving on him, but Kai's is still there, and he is slighted 40's plan and has taken him down. The dyno is almost about to blow with 8 seconds left on the clock, and the Jagged Panther, perhaps, the tank, is still repaired. So boom, off goes the tank barrier, and the tank barrier has moved past it with No Name on the tank, and a fierce battle going on in here, just in front of the tank. But there are a few sporadic battles towards the truck as well, with Vision camping it up and spamming up with his magic grenades. But the tank with an airstrike on top of it has gone just past the balcony there, but is being repaired by 40, and will head towards the little seat and what are that? Pot plants. You don't notice these things when you're not playing the game. Anyway, the tank is there. He just needs someone to shoot that, and 40's done it successfully. He's on the tank, and he's just got a MG42 kill as well as the tank blows the doors. And where are all the allies gone? We've got a dynamite plant and also landmines going down. Oh no, Iceman has just defused a landmine and he's planted a dynamite on the truck barrier. BSR.
Yep, so we've got the Allies really rushing through the courtyard right now. They're getting cut down though. The tank's still up with no name perched on there, and he's managed to take out a few defenders as we get... It's Hayes pushing through to the docks. He gets a touch on the gold as Axis have just respawned, so Australia's got to really pick their moment here. They've got Hayes pushing boxes with gold. He's packing himself up. He's down on very low health, so he's got Shaggy near him, and he's pushing long up the truck path with the docks. And it looks like Australia's really got the ascendancy here at the moment. Without the Axis are unable to really put up a defence at all, really, and it looks like Hayes might get a free ride straight to the truck here, with Allies controlling it quite easily.
Yes, exactly. That's
649.
Here comes a build though. Vision and Snubble getting that build happening as fast as they can. Oh, they probably were very, very close there as the truck pushes its way past that semi-invisible barrier. I'm not entirely sure how that works in terms of physics. My teacher couldn't explain an invisible barrier being passed through and somehow stopping something in air. But the Allies have in fact gotten this truck now past that barrier, and it looks like they're going to be moving through the next round unless they somehow can't manage to push this truck to 6:15. They're going to be moving into the playoff round at BSR.
Yeah, well, they're having a few issues here trying to push it, but it looks like some TKID might clear it for them as Iceman pushes through. He's going to try and load the camp, but he's cut down. We've got 40 pushing the truck with Shaggy heading in an unconventional role as Panda, and I think he's probably hoping, quite wishful thinking, to pick up a big kill, but he's cut down by Borchester, and we've got 40 escorting the truck. It's now near the ammo racks, and it looks like Australia will go through and cap with probably about 5 minutes left on the clock as the good games go up.
Indeed. And it could just be me, and it could just be the fact that I have nothing else to talk about. But the ability to build that truck barrier is still there for some reason. The build box is still up, even though the truck is past it, which is a little bit odd. As 40 drives his Monaro towards the finish line and caps the gold in 5 minutes 15 left on the clock. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. Goes up from 40. Well done by the Norwegians. Bad luck to them as the Australians move on to the playoff round. Thank you BSR and Virus for casting with me, and the cast shall be up tomorrow on GameStar.com, and thank you, and tune in next time the Australians play in this Nations Cup, because we'll probably be bringing you that action as well. And if you want any other casts, jump on the forums at GameStar, and we'll see what we can do. We'll cut some other Nations Cup games as well, possibly. Anyway, this is BSR, Flash and Virus signing off. Well, this is actually more Flash signing off, but I'm doing it on behalf of BSR and Virus as well. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.